The crash no one saw coming. Ping, ping, ping. The phone won't stop. News alerts lighting up like emergency flares in a dark ocean. Dow plunges 2,000 points. S&P suffers the worst day since 1987. Markets in freefall. Screens everywhere are flashing red. On the trading floor, on kitchen counters, in living rooms across the country. Sarah, 67, sits on the edge of her beige sofa, barefoot, still in her bathrobe. She hasn't moved for hours. Her glasses slide down her nose as she stares at her iPad, refreshing her retirement account for the third time in 10 minutes. $489,000. Refresh. $464,000. Refresh. $439,000. The numbers are falling faster than her heart rate can keep up. She leans forward, then back, then forward again, her hand trembling over the refresh button like it's some kind of detonator. She worked 35 years for that money, lived below her means, skipped vacations, saved religiously. Now it's vanishing like mist, and there's nothing she can do to stop it. Across town, Jamal, 29, stands frozen in front of his laptop. His Robinhood app just glitched and closed. He reopens it, only to see his Tesla shares tanked 18% since breakfast. He whispers to no one, "This can't be real." He scrolls Twitter, circuit breakers triggered. Is this the start of a recession? Sell everything. His Discord group is chaotic. Panic posts, all caps. Emojis of fire and skulls. One guy's yelling that the market is rigged. Another is bragging he shortened everything and saw it coming. But Jamal didn't. He bought in during the hype. Everyone was winning. Crypto was going to the moon. Now, it feels like gravity snapped. On CNBC, anchors speak in urgent tones, but can't hide the fear behind their eyes. Words like bloodbath, correction, systemic risk. At a Starbucks in Midtown Manhattan, a woman in a suit watches it all unfold from her phone. She sighs, closes the app, and sips her coffee like she's seen this movie before. But Sarah hasn't. Jamal hasn't. This is their first time seeing money evaporate in real time. First time realizing how powerless it feels when the system convulses and doesn't ask for permission. They thought they were playing the game, but now the board is on fire. The crash came out of nowhere, they'll say. But markets never really ask for your opinion. They just move. And when they move like this, fast, irrational, unforgiving, they don't just burn portfolios, and they burn illusions. The illusion that it's always up and to the right. The illusion that risk is only something that happens to other people. So, as Sarah lowers her iPad and stares out the window, and as Jamal walks aimlessly down his block with his earbuds in and heart racing, one quiet question hangs in the air. Is this chaos an anomaly, or the entry fee to long-term wealth? The illusion of smooth growth. We want it to feel like a staircase. One step up, then another. Predictable, steady, safe. But markets don't climb like staircases. They lurch. They wobble. They fall 3 steps down before jumping 5 steps up. And yet, we stare at charts and get angry when they don't move in a straight line. Morgan Housel puts it simply. Volatility is the price of admission. The prize inside is superior long-term returns. You have to pay the price to get the prize. But most people aren't ready to pay. They think the chaos is a glitch, a mistake, something that needs to be fixed. It's not. It is the game. The crashes, the sudden drops, the fear. It's not a deviation from the plan. It is the plan. The problem is emotional. We crave stability the way a drowning person craves air. We want our money to feel secure, calm, untouched by chaos. But the market doesn't care about our emotional comfort. It's a living thing, powered by millions of unpredictable humans, each acting out of fear, greed, hope, and desperation. How could that ever produce a smooth line? Still, we believe it should. We're taught that effort equals progress, that working hard should bring results in a straight, upward trajectory. So when our portfolio dips after we've done everything right, we panic, we feel cheated. But what if that dip isn't punishment? What if it's proof that we're in the game? Look at any long-term chart. Zoom out far enough and the chaos shrinks. The crashes become blips, but at the moment, they feel like the end of the world. That's the illusion. Expecting growth to feel good all the time. We don't get a warning. No alert pops up saying, "Here comes your emotional resilience test." It just hits. And if we believe growth should be smooth, then every drop feels like failure. Every correction feels like betrayal. But if we accept that the path to wealth is jagged, chaotic, and stormy, then the storm doesn't scare us as much. It becomes part of the rhythm, not something to avoid, but something to ride. Because in the market, smoothness is a myth. And volatility? That's not the enemy. That's the toll booth on the road to wealth. Are you willing to pay for it? Fear as a feature, not a flaw. It's not just numbers on a screen, it's your money, your future, your security. So when the market drops 30% in a month, you don't think, buy the dip. You think, what if this never recovers? Morgan Housel explains it like this. People are not wired to handle volatility. We feel the sting of loss twice as powerfully as the joy of gain. It's not logic that kicks in during a crash. It's survival instinct. Meet David. Early 2020, pandemic headlines everywhere. Market tanking. David's retirement fund loses $180,000 in 3 weeks. He tries to stay calm, but every morning he wakes up with dread. His chest tightens before he even checks the balance. His wife tells him to stop looking, but he can't. One night, he lies awake, replaying every decision. I should have sold in February. Why didn't I see this coming? What if it all goes to zero? On March 16th, he finally caves, moves everything to cash, tells himself he'll buy back in when things feel safe again. But safe never comes with a calendar alert. By the time he re-enters the market in mid-2021, it's already soared past pre-pandemic levels. He missed the rebound, and he knows it. Then there's Mia. Same crash, same fear. She watches her portfolio plummet. $12,000 becomes $7,800. She feels sick. Every instinct tells her to pull out. But she remembers a podcast she heard, something about not making permanent decisions in temporary storms. So she sits with fear, don't act, doesn't sell. She journals her thoughts. She talks to friends who remind her, you don't lose unless you lock in the loss. And slowly, painfully, she waits. By the end of 2020, her portfolio not only recovers, it grows. She didn't buy more. She didn't time the bottom. She just stayed in the game. Same market, same storm. 2 outcomes. David chased safety and paid the price in regret. Mia endured fear and earned the reward of recovery, because fear isn't something to eliminate. It's part of the system. Volatility isn't a design flaw. It's the feature that creates the opportunity. That sick feeling in your stomach when the market tanks, that's the entry fee. That's the price of not being average. Morgan Housel says it clearly. If there were no fear, there would be no returns. You don't get the benefit without enduring the cost. The question isn't whether the fear will come. It will. The question is what you'll do with it. Will you interpret it as a signal to run? Or will you see it for what it really is, the cost of playing the greatest wealth-building game on earth? The toll booth on the road to wealth. Think of building wealth like driving cross-country. You start in New York, dreaming of the West Coast, freedom, sunshine, financial peace. The road stretches long, winding through valleys, cities, deserts, and along the way there are toll booths, lots of them, Some are small, barely noticeable. Others are steep. They hurt. But if you want to keep driving, you pay. Now meet Carlos. Carlos understands this. He treats volatility like a toll booth. Annoying, yes, but part of the journey. In 2008, his 401k shrank by 40%. He was scared. Who wouldn't be? But he didn't swerve off the road. He kept contributing, even as the world felt like it was on fire. In 2020, markets tanked again. Same feeling, same fear. But by now, Carlos had driven this route before. He whispered to himself, another toll booth. Just keep driving. By 2023, he's not rich in the flashy sense, but his portfolio is strong, resilient, a reflection of quiet endurance, not perfect timing. Then there's Olivia. She starts her journey with the same excitement. Makes her first investments during a bull run. Everything feels easy until the rain comes. The market dips. Red everywhere. She panics, pulls over, sits on the shoulder of the road, waiting for the sun. She gets back in only when things feel calm again. But the next storm hits. She pulls over again. She's not moving forward, just starting, stopping, restarting. And it's not because she's lazy. She's just afraid of the toll. But here's what Morgan Housel teaches us. You have to endure the short-term discomfort of market drops in order to earn the long-term benefit of market returns. There is no route to wealth that skips fear, chaos, or discomfort. There's no express lane that bypasses risk. And the tolls, they're not punishments. They're prices. Prices for the chance to build real, compounding wealth. Prices that everyone has to pay, no matter how smart or cautious they are. Carlos accepted that. He drives with calm, knowing storms will pass. Olivia still waits on the side of the road, hoping for perfect weather. So the next time the market drops and the fear kicks in, ask yourself, is this a sign to pull over? Or is it just another toll booth? Because no one reaches financial freedom without paying their share. You can slow down. You can curse the toll. But if you want to reach the coast, you keep driving. When you expect calm, chaos feels like failure. Ethan was told it would be simple. He sat down with a financial advisor who spoke in soothing tones. Diversified funds, historical averages, long-term growth, low risk, they said. Stable returns over time. It felt safe, almost boring. Exactly what Ethan wanted. He put in $20,000 and imagined the line steadily rising, a slow, easy climb toward financial security. Then the market turned. Not a gentle dip, but a stomach-churning fall. 12% gone in 2 weeks, then 20%, then 30%. Ethan checked his balance every morning, hoping it would bounce back. Instead, it sank further. No one told him it would feel like this. Panic crept in. He felt stupid, exposed, betrayed. This wasn't supposed to happen, he said to himself. So he pulled out, sold everything at a loss, told himself he'd get back in when things are safe again. But he never did, because that one experience convinced him the market was a lie. Now meet Raina. She read the same books, watched the same YouTube channels, but she heard something different. She heard that the market is a stormy ocean, not a smooth lake, that some days would be brutal. And that volatility isn't the exception, it's the default. So when the same bear market hit, she felt fear, but didn't panic. She gripped the wheel tighter, reminded herself, this is part of the ride. She stayed invested. She kept contributing. And slowly, painfully, the market turned. Her account recovered, then grew, not because she timed the bottom, but because she never expected the top to last forever. Ethan expected calm. So when chaos came, he saw it as failure. Raina expected chaos. So when it arrived, she saw it as part of the plan. That's the emotional difference expectation makes. Morgan Housel explains it like this. Your success as an investor is not determined by how you behave when things go well. It's how you behave when everything falls apart. If you think investing is about avoiding storms, you'll feel betrayed every time one hits. But if you know storms are baked into the journey, you're not surprised when the clouds roll in. You brace, you breathe, you keep going, because real success doesn't feel like winning all the time. It feels like endurance, like staying grounded when the ground shakes. And if you can train your emotions to expect the storm, then you've already won half the battle. The strength to stay in. Emotional endurance over market timing. Let's be honest. When the market dropped 10% in a week, did your chest tighten? Did you reach for your phone, scroll through red numbers, and wonder if you should pull out before it gets worse? Have you ever thought, I'll just sit this one out and come back when it's calm again? You're not alone. We've all been tempted to time the market, to believe that if we're just smart enough, fast enough, informed enough, we can dodge the pain and catch the upside. But Housel says something different, something humbling and powerful. The most important investing skill is not being smarter, it's staying in the game long enough to let compounding work. This isn't about intelligence, it's about endurance. The ones who win aren't the ones who guess right. They're the ones who stay, who holds on when it hurts, who feels the fear but doesn't let it drive the wheel, because fear will scream at you, tell you the sky is falling, tell you to do something. But sometimes the strongest move is to do nothing at all. That's not a weakness, that's discipline. And discipline builds wealth, not overnight, not in a straight line, but relentlessly, quietly, like water wearing down rock. So ask yourself, when the next storm hits, because it will you let panic speak louder than your plan? Or will you have the strength to stay in? You don't need to predict the next crash. You don't need to outsmart the market. You just need to survive it. Long enough for your patience to become your edge. Long enough for time to reward what fear tried to steal. That's how wealth is built. Not with brilliance, but with emotional endurance. So the next time the market shakes and your hands start to tremble, breathe. You're not falling behind. You're just passing another toll booth, and every mile you stay in the game is a mile closer to freedom. Volatility is the price and the proof. If your stomach drops when the market does, if your heart races when red numbers flood the screen, that's not a sign you've failed. It's a sign you're in the game. Volatility isn't a punishment, it's a receipt. Proof that you've shown up, that you've committed real money, real emotion, real belief. Housel puts it plainly. The trick is convincing yourself that the market's chaos is not a bug, it's a feature. Without the fear, there would be no reward. That discomfort you feel when the graph turns downward, that's not the beginning of loss. It's the beginning of growth. Because you can't build wealth from the sidelines. You can't create long-term returns without short-term pain. And you can't become resilient without first being rattled. Volatility is the price, but it's also proof that you're not chasing illusions anymore, that you're not pretending the ride will be smooth, that you've accepted the real rules of the game and chosen to play anyway. So if you've ever felt fear and stayed invested, if you've ever held steady when the world screamed panic, you've already done something rare, you've paid the toll and kept driving. Comment, I accept the price below, as your declaration that you understand the cost and are willing to pay it. Now close your eyes, picture a lone figure walking calmly through the wind, head down, eyes forward. The world around them is loud, uncertain, chaotic, but they move with purpose, not shaken, not rushed, just steady. That's you. That's wealth being built, one storm at a time.